I always had the impression from the second I arrived in Calgary that it was my games. So I had not prepared myself for anything else other than coming first.
This thing in here was so tight it could snap.
For a split second, thought to myself, wow, we did it. And then, boom.
All I remember is just getting knocked over.
It was a nightmare, our worst nightmare.
They don't want to lose. They want to win.
The buzz was these two were going to do it. The press was saying, but they can win, they can win, they can win.
I just remember feeling that all of Canada had given up.
He could write off a whole practice session on a camel spin that no one else saw, noticed, but he felt it.
The matador, he's proud, he's arrogant, he's an exhibitionist, he's showing off, he's strong, he's got that cape, it's an extension of his arm.
I would be the cape as an inanimate object, which would come over far easier than trying to be a bull for 3 minutes.
You don't want to get perfection because there's nothing beyond it.
MasterCard presents a Skate Canada production. Theater of Champions. Thoughts we never heard.
We have a habit of listening to everybody else's marks like this. Have they done? No, no, okay.
We didn't give much time or thought to praising each other and saying, oh, that was good, or whatever. It's a bit of a shock.
Moments we all witnessed.
Oh my goodness! It's right across the board! They've done it again! 9 sixes for presentation!
There wasn't any day that we said that was perfect. Not in our eyes.
Never a mistake.
I hate using the word perfect, but they were.
Lives we all followed.
When Chris and Jane came along, they had the checklist that you would want everybody to have. They had great skating skills. They had a great feeling for edge. There was a softness and a suppleness about their skating. They had a relationship, and probably the most important thing was the character of whatever they did was not given to them. It wasn't a facade, it actually came from within.
She was the calming influence and I was the more fiery.
Hello everybody, sorry I can't be with you today. That's because I'm here in London working on the World Championships. I really hope you enjoy this presentation. Oh, and please don't give Chris a hard time.
Our emphasis is on the connection. The transitions are the important parts. It's a feeling, it's a mood. It's that where people look at it and they maybe get a bit tingly. They're the magic moments.
There must be a reason why I'm doing this, at 5:30 in the morning in the frozen north of England.
We weren't trying to show people. It was honest skating, honest emotion, and as pure as it could be without trying to be contrived. It wasn't sequins and costumes. It was about movement.
I started skating from school. One of the teachers said, are any of the children interested in going skating? And we all had to go home, ask our parents for a little bit of extra money to go skating. And that's how it started, really, which is, it's amazing because it probably might never have happened otherwise.
I started skating after I got my skates at Christmas. 1 week later, I was on the ice and I was 10 years old, which is a bit late by today's standards.
I loved it. I came home and I was full of it, talking to Mum and Dad. And I said, oh, please take me tomorrow. And I begged them to take me on Saturday.
I think my mother lost count after 200 falls on day one.
And I always remember that when it was time to leave, my mum would I would see her come to the edge of the barrier to wave to me, and I would skate to the middle and start spinning or something so she couldn't see me, pretend I couldn't see her either.
The ice rink, when I walked in, was a magical place. It was a winter wonderland. There was a mural on the rink that had this sort of picturesque Davos scene up in the Swiss mountains, and there was white ice. And I've always loved snow, whenever we had snow in England, which wasn't that often. But when it came, I loved the whiteness, the purity of it. My first partner, Sandra Elson, we found ourselves winning the primary championships, which is the kiss of death, because if you win the primaries, the partnership never lasts. And we were going to prove that wrong.
My first partner was Michael Hutchinson, and they actually sort of threw us together because we were sort of the right height and everything to take part in this dance competition. But my teacher had other ideas. She wanted us to pair skate.
And Sandra was a lively spirit, and I think I had a little bit of a resistance to that as well. So needless to say, by the time we were 12 or 13, we were fighting like husband and wife after a little bit.
And we were doing quite well. We suddenly collected lots of medals and little trophies because there was usually only 1 or 2 or 3 at the most couples in. So we either came first, second or third, and we always got a little prize. And we thought, oh, well, this is fun.
At that time, Jane had been a pair skater. She was the queen bee in the rink, actually, because she was... She became national champion and she went off to championships, Europeans, I think. I don't know whether she went to Worlds. She'll tell you she finished last in all the events that she went, but in Nottingham, I mean, she was a big fish.
I believe in miracles. Where from? You sexy thing, you.
I remember seeing Chris at the ice rink. I noticed him because of his blonde hair, and I used to think, oh, he's the blonde prince.
In that time, a coach by the name of Janet Sawbridge had been invited up to come teach, and it was at Janet's suggestion that we try together.
There was no sort of bells ringing and fireworks, but I guess there was an eagerness to learn.
A lot of people say, did you know there and then? But really, the sun didn't shine and the bells didn't ring, and no, it wasn't auspicious, but it was our beginning.
I remember doing our first dance competition in a town called Sheffield. We came first, and then we went on to a regional event and we won that.
One thing just seemed to lead to the next.
We just took each thing as it came along and worked for the next event.
Before we knew it, we became national champions, and it sort of shocked us. I think at some point I thought I might become a miner, because my father was a miner, his father was a miner.
I didn't really have a career in mind other than perhaps skating, although I hadn't even thought too much about that. I just took the first job that was available, really, which was an office job in an insurance company. Because I thought, oh, wow, I'll be leaving school in a month's time. What am I going to do?
When I was at school, we did a Duke of Edinburgh award scheme, and we had to study other jobs, occupations, or get involved with the community. And one of the things that I did was looked at the police force. I thought, that sounds kind of interesting. That's something that I might like to try. And as I researched it and looked into it, eventually I said, I want to be a policeman. That's what I'm going to be. Riding around in the police car with the siren and the blue light flashing. So I joined the police force, left tender age of 16, became a cadet, went through, there's nothing, a police dog is higher than a cadet. When you join the ranks, it's the lowest of the low, and you're the office boy. You make the tea, and at the same time, you watch what the real policeman did, and it was a great sort of introduction to becoming eventually a real policeman.
His wages were quite low in the early days, and mine were quite low because I was only 16, just starting out at work. But it was enough to sort of keep us skating. But our biggest problem was that we didn't have enough time to skate.
We gave each other that respect. If I'm going to turn up, I know Jane's going to turn up, so I've got to be there. And especially when we were working, Jane would have to work in the day and come in the evening when I'd finish my shift as a policeman. And so that respect over time of what each other had to do to get there, to be responsible on time, and really responsibility to the partnership. I think that just was one of the main factors of our relationship that really held us together.
I think it was probably around 78 that our coach decided to give up because she wanted to start a family. And we had competed in our first European and World Championships. We took advice from various people. They suggested that we ring Betty Calloway because they knew that she might be available to coach us. So we did. We were very timid and afraid, but we met with Betty, and she was a very gentle person, very easy to get on with. And we were lucky that the timing was right, that she could actually coach us. We had the opportunity one summer to go and train in Germany, in Oberstdorf, at this fabulous centre there. We were there for 6 weeks. We realised how much work we got done, being able to train 4 to 6 hours a day, and it was just amazing. Even we felt a big improvement in our work.
We'd gained so much, we'd grown so much, became stronger, and we realised that if we were going to move forward, the next stage was to continue training like that.
From then on, all we wanted to do was train full-time there.